Soviet bankers. Script Mark Wisniewski, direction Viktor Granin, photography Oleg Romensky. The Leningrad Documentary Film Studios, commissioned by the Union of Soviet Societies of Friendship and Cultural Ties with Foreign Countries. Moscow, the capital of the USSR and the center of its crediting system, the State Bank. The Stroybank, the Vneshtorg Bank. The field of their activities extends throughout the country. They have ties with many foreign states, hundreds of thousands of accounts with all sorts of enterprises, organizations and construction sites, whose work is determined by the National Economic Plan. After nationwide discussion, the plan for the development of the national economy becomes law of the Soviet state. Crediting and financing institutions are called upon to secure the law with all the means possessed. Over 500 billion rubles have been spent in the last 9th five-year development plan on capital construction. At present, credit deposits in the bank come to more than 200 billion. Soviet money. Each banknote indicates that it is guaranteed by gold, precious metals, and other assets of the State Bank. This is the biggest bank in the world and is the main link in the Soviet crediting system. The turnover comes to billions, and there are over 14 million operations each day. No other bank in the world operates on such a scale. The bank's administration. Soviet bankers control powerful financial mechanisms. Over 100,000 specialists with diplomas and the highest qualifications work in the banking system, which has 4,000 branches and 80,000 savings banks. It has been calculated that in the current 10th five-year plan, the country's economy will receive a huge sum of over 6,000 billion rubles in credit. The State Bank has started out with nil, but throughout the 60 years, the Soviet ruble's purchasing power had constantly grown. That's the first Soviet money. The Civil War and counter-revolution had eventually forced its value down. The 10-ruble Chervonets replaced it. By that time, the State Bank already regulated the money turnover in the young Soviet state. In 1924, the budget deficit was finally liquidated and the framework of the first five-year plan was prepared. A new socialist economy was being formed, the interests of which were protected by Soviet bankers. The financial crediting system withstood the test in wartime, too. Socialism has no well-beaten tracks, nor did it have anyone to invest billions into its war-ravaged economy. But it did have deft hands and gifted minds. The country healed its war wounds and created an even more powerful economy of a developed socialist society. A nationwide computer system is being formed to process information and for efficient handling of various operations. It's a unique system without analogy, for the Soviet Bank jointly handles monetary and crediting transactions. But not a single computer can replace the human being in foretelling the future. The computer has worked out the draft of another crediting plan, but only specialists like Pyotr Pchilin and his colleagues can select the optimal way and will put it into concrete figures. Each of these figures controls millions of credits, and bank employees are frequent visitors to places the credits are extended to. Maria Semenikova came to a confectionery to jointly discuss prospects of modernizing production and determining the required sums needed. The manager of a large branch of the State Bank in the Russian Federation, Sergei Egorov, works in close contact with his clients who are builders. Contacts and control. That's the general style the bank maintains. The heads of the Republican office in Kiev often invite plant specialists to discuss the best ways to utilize the credits. They frequently visit places where new technology is being created. A bank employee not only knows the value of money, he is acquainted with modern technical solutions as required by the times. Helping scientific technical progress, the bank thereby contributes to the modernization and perfection of each machine. The regional bank is the local link in the complicated crediting system. The chief task of this branch in the village is to help the agricultural region transfer to an industrial basis to thoroughly control the building of each livestock complex of each ruble. This setup in any of the 15 Union republics is primarily determined by its expediency. Even the boldest project turns to reality when the State Bank opens its credit. Only after that, powerful technology comes to the dry, hungry steppes, and then life-giving moisture that alters the face of deserts. For example, in the 10th five-year plan, slightly less than 40 billion rubles will be spent on land reclamation. Representatives of the bank are usually on the spot of such bold enterprises. Many foreign businessmen seek contacts with Soviet bankers, and they open their branches in the USSR for closer cooperation. Trade, and especially foreign trade, begins with contacts. The products of mutually beneficial agreement on the most varied items, from nuclear power stations to children's toys, go to various corners of the world. Foreign customers willingly purchase jewelry, precious stones, and gold through representatives of the Vneshtorg Bank. The necessity to develop trade ties resulted in the opening of new banks abroad with Soviet capital. Similar banks have been operating for many years in Britain, France, the Federal Republic of Germany, Iran, and other countries. Foreign financiers in turn come to Moscow more often. When this film was taken, the administration of the State Bank met the president of the National Bank of Finland, Mr. Koivisto. Our relations are very good, and we often see each other. We have many questions, and we usually discuss them in a very good atmosphere. Over 1,600 banks with which regular contacts have been established, and new clients send their proposals as well. They are discussed and, if mutually beneficial, are accepted. Here's what Mr. Fitzgerald, the Bank of America representative, has to say. The Bank of America believes that such representation gives a good opportunity to increase our contacts with the Soviet State Bank, the Vneshtorg Bank, and other banks in Moscow. I think our relations will be expanded in future. Good prospects. They are aimed at solving the main task, that of developing trade and economic ties on a mutually profitable basis. Encouraging the development of trade in the country, employees of the State Bank thereby create maximum convenience for customers. An outstanding feature of socialist development of the economy is stable prices on various goods. Over a third of all the bank's credit investments go into trade. The bank helps millions of people to acquire furniture, TV sets, tape recorders, and refrigerators annually. In short, various goods worth 5 billion rubles. Large sums are also given in loans to those building new cozy apartments and homes in the cities and villages. The financiers utilize money deposited by the population most successfully. $107 million depositors place over 90 billion rubles of their money in the savings banks of the state bank. Such confidence of the people in their bank requires no comment. What does the state bank gain from this? Its profit is indeed tremendous. It is the constant growth of the Soviet people's welfare. Every minute, the population of the USSR increases by 8 persons. And the Soviet state and its bankers are all the while concerned over them, for such is their work, to protect the interest of each and every Soviet citizen.